3-digit numbers are there for which the product of their digits is more than 2 but less than 7. So between 2 and 7, the product could be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. How do you write 3 as a product of 3 numbers, because it is a 3-digit number? Obviously 311. How do you write 4? It will be 411, or it will be of course 221. Okay. 5 will be 511, 6 would be 611, and 3 into 2 into 1. Okay. So I now have the digits for each and every single number, and now I arrange. So for the first case, how many numbers can I form with digits 311? I have to arrange 3 items. That's 3 factorial upon 2 factorial. The ones are identical. 4's के case में I have 2 cases. So 411 is again 3 factorial by 2 factorial, and 221 is also 3 factorial by 2 factorial because 2 items are identical. Same thing for 511, 3 factorial by 2 factorial, and 611 has 2 cases. 611 and 321. 321 in how many ways can I arrange 3 different items? 3 factorial ways. And then add them up. All these values are, first one is 3. Then second one is 3 plus 3, 6. Third one is 3. Fourth one is 3 plus 6, 9. Add them up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 21 is the right answer for question number 1. A tough question. You have a function f of x. If f of 5 plus x is equal to f of 5 minus x for every real x, and f of x equal to 0 has 4 distinct real roots, then the sum of the roots is. So for example, if f of 5 plus x is equal to f of 5 minus x, and let's say you put x equal to 1. x equal to 1 डाला तो आएगा 5 plus 1 6 is equal to 5 minus 1 4. And then let's put 2. So 5 plus 2 7 is equal to 5 minus 2 3. So do you notice that in each of these scenarios the sum is 10? Sum is 10, whether it is 6 plus 4 or whether it is 7 plus 3, the sum is 10. So consider, now there are 4 distinct real roots, right? So consider a root R1. Let us consider a root R1. Since it is a root, f of R1 will be equal to 0 because it is a root. And according to our solving over here, no matter what you take, no matter what value you take, the other value will be 10 minus 7. 6, 10 minus 6, 7, 10 minus 7, because the sum is 10. So we get another root over here, 10 minus R1. So the other root is 10 minus R1, for which the sum is 0, right? It's a root, so therefore sum nahi, for which the value is 0. And now let's consider some other different root R2, because the roots are distinct, no? So f of R2 is equal to 0, which will now be equal to f of 10 minus R2. So you now get the fourth root. First root, second root, third root, fourth root. R2, 10 minus R2. Because we don't know the roots. Then the sum of the roots is, what is the sum? Sum of the roots turns out to be 20. 20, the answer is D part. This was a really tough question. Viru invested 10,000 at 5% simple interest exactly after 2 years. Joy invested 8,000 at 10% simple interest. So Viru and Joy, and let's say the T0 starting date, then T1 So T naught पे 10,000 rupees Viru has put. At 5%, 10% is 1,000, 5% is 500. So add 500 rupees. So after 1 year, then after 2 years, it becomes another plus 500, 11,000 rupees. And at this point, Mr. Joy has put in 8,000 rupees. And the difference between these two values is of course 3,000 rupees. Now let's go 1 year later. T3, add another 500 rupees to Viru, he gets 11,500. And then add 10%, that's 800 to Joy, and that becomes 8,800. And the difference between them becomes 2,700 now. Question is asking how many years after Viru's investment के कितने साल बाद will their balances be equal? So this gap of 3,000 has become 2,700, then it will become 2,400, then it will become 2,100, and so on. It will keep reducing. At a point it will become 300, and finally it will become 0, and their balances will become equal. Okay? So we just need to find out how many years after Viru's investment will these values be equal. Okay? So we have to count the number of terms over here. Let us count T1, T2, T3 and so on, T4 dot dot dot. So I have the first term 3,000. The final term is 0, or you can say that the final term is 3,000 and first term is 0. It's an AP plus n minus 1 into common difference 300. So you get n is equal to 11. ठीक है, n equal to 11 हो चुका है. So from T2 onwards 11 terms अगर हम आगे जाएं, what is this? Yeah, just remove this. Now it's just basic counting, so just add 11 terms from over here and we should be able to reach 12. ठीक है. In the 12th year their balances are equal. T2 to T12 11 terms have been achieved, and question is asking Viru के कितने साल बाद. So from T0 to T12 12 years have elapsed. How many years after Viru's investment? 12 years after Viru's investment their balances will be equal, and that is question number 3. Very easy question. An easy question, and obviously we will use our best available method for this kinds of questions, which is proportionality, because our distance is constant. So a train traveled at 1/3 of its usual speed. Let's say he was traveling at S. Now 1/3 means S upon 3, and reached the destination 30 minutes after the scheduled time. So time taken initially was T. When speed became 1/3, time became triple. So initially time taken was T and later on it was 3T. So the difference is 2T. That difference is 2T, and the difference in time is 30 minutes because the person was 30 minutes late. That means that T is equal to 15 minutes. The travel time is 15 minutes. So let me assume a speed, because distance is not mentioned, speed is not mentioned. And we are dealing in minutes, so let speed be 1 kilometer per minute. Time taken is 15 minutes, so distance becomes 15 kilometers. Clear so far? On its return journey, the train initially traveled at its usual speed for 5 minutes. 5 minutes at 1 kilometer per minute becomes 5 kilometers. Okay? And then stopped for 4 minutes for an emergency, then percentage by which train must increase its usual speed to reach on time. So 15 kilometers में से 5 kilometers is done, 10 kilometers is left. He wants to reach on time, that's 15 minutes. 5 minutes are gone, 4 minutes emergency, 9 minutes are over out of 15 minutes. He wants to cover this in 6 minutes. So distance 10 kilometers upon time 6 minutes gives you 10 upon 6, that's 5 upon 3. That is 1.6 bar kilometers per minute. ठीक है. Initial speed was 1, now it's 1.6 bar, so 1 to 1.6 bar, find out the percentage change, that's 66 2 by 3%. And your answer is nearest to 67, and that is the answer. Use an amazing technique to solve this question, which is proportionality. You've read the question. Initial speed is s, time taken is t. When speed becomes 1/3, time becomes triple. So the time gap between these two cases is 2t, which is given by the delay of 30 minutes. So t is 15 minutes. Let speed be 1 kilometer per minute. For 15 minutes, it's 15 kilometers distance, where he has already traveled for 5 minutes, that's 5 kilometers. And there was a 4-minute emergency. 5 plus 4, 9 minutes are gone, but he still wants to reach in 15 minutes. That's a remaining 6 minutes travel time. So 10 upon 6, 5 upon 3. Speed is 1.6 bar kilometers per minute. From 1 to 1.6 bar is an increase of 66.6 bar %, and that is your answer. Basic question on logs. Just separate the base, log 5 upon log 4. यहाँ पे separate log 4 and separate log 6. And then from here, this half, which is in the power, can come down. Half comes down, log 5 cancel, log 4 cancel, and 2 log 6 gets cross multiplied. 2 log 6 is equal to log y, and 2 goes into the power, that becomes 6 square. And now just function inverse, log inverse, y is equal to 36 is your right answer for question number 5. Now this is based upon a question that has been repeated over the years multiple times. This is basically of the form number plus uska reciprocal, and from the concept of am greater than equal to gm, we know that for non-zero values, a plus 1 upon a is always greater than or equal to 2. So the LHS is greater than or equal to 2. And then you look at the RHS. RHS is 2 minus something. So either it is equal to 2 or it is less than 2. So if the LHS is greater than equal to 2 and the RHS is less than or equal to 2, when can they be equal? At what value can they be equal? They can only be equal when they are each equal to 2. समझ में आया? These two LHS and RHS can be equal to each other only when each of these is equal to 2. ठीक है? So we remove this. Now, when is the LHS equal to 2? LHS is equal to 2 for x equal to 0. X equal to 0, you'll get 1 plus 1, 2. And when is the RHS equal to 2? RHS is equal to 2 for x equal to 2. Right? 2 minus 0 will be 2. So यहाँ पे 0 चाहिए. So 2 रखना पड़ेगा. So the LHS is 2 for x equal to 0. The RHS is 2 for x equal to 2. So these are occurring at different times. These are occurring at different moments. These two together cannot be 2. These two together cannot be 2, and hence they will not be equal. Therefore, there are no solutions, and B part is the right answer. This is again a standard question for TSD, where you have basically two cars that are moving towards each other. It's connecting point A and point B. If car 1 travels at a speed of 60, so car 1 travels from here at a speed of 60 from A to B. Car 2 travels from B to A. Car 2 travels from B to A, both leaving at the same time. After meeting each other, let's say that the meeting point is M. They take 45 minutes and 20 minutes respectively to complete their journeys. So for this, we know that there is a formula that exists, so you don't need to derive it, that the time of meeting square is equal to T1 into T2. What are T1 and T2? T1 and T2 is basically the time taken after crossing. Okay? After meeting each other, they take 45 and 20 minutes respectively. So one car takes 45 minutes and the other car takes 20 minutes after crossing to finish the journey. That becomes a total of 900. So the time of meeting now becomes 30. The time of meeting is 30 minutes. If car 1 travels at a speed of 60, then the speed of car 2 is very simple. So, what is the total distance? Time of meeting is 30 minutes. So, if we talk about car 1 has taken 45 minutes over here, and after crossing, car 1 has taken 30 minutes over here. That's a total of 75 minutes. Okay. So, what is the total distance that has been covered by car 1 at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour for a time duration of 75 minutes? Minutes converted to hours. A distance of 75 kilometers is the value of AB. Now, you have to find out the speed of car 2. Car 2 is coming from here, and car 2 is taking how much time? Car 2 takes 45 minutes to cover this distance, and then after crossing it takes 20 minutes over here. That's a total of 65 minutes, right? So the speed of the second car will be distance upon time, a distance of 75 kilometers, and a time of 45 plus 20, 65 minutes. And minutes converted to hours will be into a 60 over here. Okay, now let us check. Sorry, slight error over here. Slight error at this point for car 1. So the time of meeting is 30 minutes. 30 pehle, then 45 minutes. So for car 2, it is 30 pehle and then 20 minutes. Right? So now speed of car 2 is equal to distance 75 kilometers divided by time. Car 2 is coming from here, 30 plus 20, 50 minutes. Converted to hours. ठीक है 5 से गया 15 times. And 15 into 6 is how much? A speed of 90. So 90 is the right answer for question 7A part. A very basic question related to averages. Let ABC be three positive integers such that the sum of A and mean of B and C is 5. A mean of B and C is 5. So I get an equation out of this 2A plus, okay, we can just write it over here, 2A plus B plus C is equal to 10. Then I'll take the second equation. In addition, sum of B and mean of A and C is 7. B and mean of A and C, A plus C upon 2 is equal to 7. So I get the second equation after taking LCM. That's 2B plus A plus C is equal to a 14. 2 into 7, 14. Just simplify your equations. Okay? That is your first equation. That is your second equation. Now subtract these two equations. Subtract, so you get 14 minus 10. That's 4. And then C will get cancelled and you will get B minus A equal to 4. 2B minus B is B and A minus 2A is minus A. So I get B minus A equal to 4. Then the sum of A and B is. So let's try some possibilities. and you have to take three positive integers. So difference is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. So when 5 minus 1 is 4, then a plus b becomes 5 plus 1, 6, and 6 is the right answer. So straightforward. You do not need to check any of the other cases because this is perfectly valid, and there you cannot have more than one correct answer. You have three positive integers, you just happen to take one case and it worked out, so 6 is the right answer for question 8. Now this is a standard question on indices and surds. X is equal to 4096, which is basically 2 to the power 12 to the power 7 plus 4 root 3. And which of the following equals 64? And 64 is 2 power 6. So 2 power 12 can basically be written as 2 power 6 whole squared. Becomes 2 power 6 whole squared. And this therefore becomes, x becomes equal to 64 to the power 2 into 7 plus 4 root 3, and that becomes 14 plus 8 root 3. 14 plus 8 root 3. So if I need the value of 64, I now need to raise both sides. Raise both sides to the power 1 upon 14 plus 8 root 3. Right, x to the power 1 upon 14 plus 8 root 3 is equal to 64 to the power 14 plus 8 root 3 to the power 1 upon 14 plus 8 root 3, and you are left with 64. Are you following what is going on? Raise both sides to the power 1 upon 14 plus 8 root 3. And that's it. We just need to simplify this. हमारा आंसर आ जाएगा. So let us quickly rationalize this. 1 upon 14 plus 8 root 3. Multiply, divide by 14 minus 8 root 3. ठीक है. So what do you get? नीचे denominator becomes 14 square 196 minus 8 root 3 square is how much? 198, is it? 8 root 3. 8 is a 64. 64 into 3 is 192. 192 upon 14 minus 8 root 3. So finally upon 4 रह जाएगा. Upon 4. So you get 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 2. This whole expression is now equal to x to the power 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 2. Or it can be written as x to the power, you can see it's done now, 7 upon 2, and the minus part goes down. 4 root 3 upon 2 is x to the power 2 root 3. We are writing in this form because of the nature of the options. 7 by 2 and 2 root 3. C part is the right answer. So बस इसको rationalize करना था. You just rationalize this. Rationalization is over here. Your new power is now 7 minus 4 root 3 upon 2. There it is. इसको break कर दो. X power 7 by 2 upon x power 2 root 3. C part is the right answer for question 9. Right, now this is a slightly tough question because शायद आपको strike ना हो about how to go about this kind of question, because if you start doing it manually, mean of all 4-digit even natural numbers of the form AABB, that's even natural numbers where a is greater than 0. So for example, if you take 2200, 2222, 2244, 2266, and 2288. Right, for the portion starting with twos, these are the 5 numbers. Then you'll do this for the threes, 3300 and so on, 3344, 3366, 3388, and then this process will repeat. Some of you might make the error of assuming that this is an AP. It is not, because यहाँ पर common difference is 22, whereas from 20 to 88 to 3300 the common difference is 12. So this is not an AP. But if you make that error, you will still get your answer. That is pure luck. So the way to do this, and you don't want to do this manually as well, is that take the average of these 5 numbers. This is an AP, average value is the middle value, and the middle value becomes 2244. So these 5 numbers can now be represented as one single number, that's 2244. Similarly, for the series starting with 3300, the middle value would be 3344. Then 4444, 5544, 6644, 7744, 8844, and 9944. And you have to find out the mean value. So instead of doing all of those numbers individually, now you just have one mean value which represents 5 values. So you can stick to this, and eventually you now get 9 values. Did we forget something? Yes, I believe we forgot the first case of 1144. ये 1144 है क्या? Because those are also 4-digit even numbers. ठीक है, so now this is another AP. This is another AP of 9 values, and the mean value will be the middle value, and that is 5544. So the answer is 5544 for this question. Middle value, it is based upon the foundation principle that the mean value of an AP is the middle term. This is a standard question on profit and loss. A person has spent 50,000 rupees to purchase a desktop and laptop computer. So CP को ले लीजिए D and L. So D plus L is 50,000. ठीक है? He sold the desktop at a 20% profit. 20% means now it has been sold for 120% or 1.2. 1.2 D and 10% come. 10% loss means 90%. 90% means 0.9 L is equal to, he made an overall 2% profit on the purchase price. 2% means the value has become 102% or 1.02 of the purchase price. Purchase price is D plus L. Find the value of D. Simple. 2 equations, 2 variables solve karna hai. So 1.2 minus 1.02 becomes 0.18 D, and 1.02 minus 0.9 becomes 0.12 D. Sorry, 0.12 L. So D upon L becomes 12 upon 18, that's 2 upon 3, and D becomes 2/5 of 50,000, and that is 20,000 is the right answer for question number 11. Now this is a challenging question. As soon as maxima minima comes into the picture, this would become a little tricky. So among 100 students, X1 have birthdays in January, that's the first month, X2 in February, and so on, up till X12 in December. And if X0 is the maximum of X1, X2, X3 up till X12, then the smallest possible value of X0 is. So these kinds of questions, it is generally better and preferred if you can just do some sort of hit and trial, right? So let me take Jan, Feb, March up till November, December, and let me take x naught. Now, just for the sake of trial, मान लो January वाला birthday is only one person, Feb one person, March one person, and so on till November. That's 11 months. So 100 minus 11, remaining 89 people will have their birthday in December. And x naught is maximum of 1111 up till 89. Sorry, not up till 89, 1111 and 89. So maximum value becomes 89. But what is the question saying? Question is saying smallest possible value of x naught is what? I have to try to reduce x naught. So let me try something else. मान लो 2 people have their birthdays in Jan, Feb, March up till November. So 11 into 2 is 22 people. Out of 100, remaining 78 people are left in December. So now x naught is 78, which is the maximum of all these values. And this is a better answer. It has improved because it is smaller. So immediately this tells us that from January to, this tells us that start increasing the values. Start increasing the values of the number of people in a particular month, which means divide the values equally. 100 को 12 महीनों में equally divide करेंगे. So we'll take 100 divided by 12. It's not divisible completely, and you get 8 4 by 12, which means that 100 divided by 12, 8 people per month can be fit in, but 4 people will be left. समझ में आ रहा है? 4 out 8 4 by 12. So for all the 12 months, let me start writing down 8 people per month pehle. All 8 people per month done. Every month has 8 people, and I am trying to now keep the values as close to each other as possible to get to my answer. अभी 4 लोग रह गए. 4 more people have to have their birthdays held. So let me give one value to 4 8s. 4 8 की values को 9 बना दो, so that your total now becomes 100. Now write x naught. X naught is the maximum of all these 8s and 9s, and the maximum of 8 and 9 is of course 9. So you can see that as you started keeping the values closer together, they started to decrease. Closer together, I'm sorry, your x naught started to decrease, and so your final answer for the smallest value of x naught is 9, and that was a nice question. Okay, 9 is the right answer. Very straightforward question based upon TSD and relative speed. So 2 persons are walking at speeds of 2 and 4 in the same direction. Train पीछे से आई, right? So when the train has come from behind them, the train is now going to cross them. Default distance between them and the train is 0. So length of train L ले लो, divided by speed of train is S in the same direction. Relative speed becomes S minus 2. And your time is 90 seconds. I want to convert the speed, therefore time 90 आ गया, but the speed should now be converted into meter per second. So let me multiply by 5 by 18. We know converting kilometer per hour to meter per second, we multiply by 5 by 18. Similarly, for the second person also, train covers its own length. S minus 4 is the relative speed into 5 by 18 will now take 100 seconds. The question is asking time taken by the train to cross an electric post. Length of train L, meters. Electric post, speed of train S converted to meter per second. So 2 equations, 2 variables. Solve for L and S and get the answer. So let's equate L. Cross multiply kar do ye pura for both of the equations, right? And then 5 by 18 gets cancelled. 0 0 cancelled. Expand. 9 is minus 18 is 10 is minus 40. इससे आपका S आ जाएगा 22. Put it back into, for example, the first equation. तो L आ जाएगा 90 into 22 minus 2 is 20 into 5 by 18. You get the length of train as 500. Put it back into the original one. जो आपको calculate करना है, that's L 500 divided by S 22 into 5 by 18. Use a calculator, you get 81.81. So your answer is nearest to 82, and that is the answer.